comics are officially ranked by the nightclubs, and Gary's a AAA. It's the best rating you can get, and that means more work, more pay, and often star billing. The comedy club circuit in Canada is dominated by comedians half Gary's age. He's unique, a headliner who really stands out in the crowded comedy scene. Not bad for a guy who drove a cab until he was almost 40. And he didn't get out of the business a minute too soon. What made you give up driving taxis?
Well, I had three friends. They thought I was funny, so they said, you should do this on stage. And I was dumb enough to believe them. Last week in Washington, D.C., they had a 3-ton coke bus. Imagine that, 3 tons of cocaine. I figured it out. That's a 1-inch line of cocaine that would stretch from here to Hamilton. And finally a reason to go there. Yeah, this is Savannah. This used to be a strip club over here. I worked there 3 or 4 times.
Like most comics, Gary started out doing street jokes, old-fashioned material like, how many divorced men does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Answer is none, because they never get the house.
Go wild, go crazy, Mr. Paul Smith!
Conventional street jokes quickly became stale on the comedy circuit. A younger, hipper audience demanded younger, hipper material that they could relate to. Gary was one of the very few older comedians who could keep up with the changing times, but it wasn't easy at first.
The comedy I'd been doing for 40 years, 50 years, and all of a sudden, it didn't count anymore.
You had to change your whole style.
Yeah, I did. I just, 90 degrees.
To begin with, he didn't think he could do it, but he sat down and started writing some fresh new material.
I got on a plane. I know I can't smoke. Halfway through the flight, I don't know why I took out a cigarette. Stewardess came over and said, "There's no smoking on the plane." I said, "I'm not smoking." She said, "You have a cigarette in your hand." There's a condom in my wallet. I'm not going to sleep with you. I'd watch the young comics. I'd watch them and I'd learn off them. I'd learn, where they were taking their material from.
I was watching CNN earlier, as I like to call it, the All OJ channel.
Now it's the young learning from their elder.
He's such a great joke writer that if something happens in the news recently and you watch him on stage and you have your own jokes, you think to yourself, well, his joke's a bit better. There's no point in doing my joke. Or you'll stand there and you watch him and you'll think, I should have thought of that.
We had that Rodney King pig in L.A. Think this could happen in Toronto? 8 Toronto cops beating up a black guy. One cop turns the other's a guy over there with a camera. Said, screw him. He's from the CBC. Nobody watches that.
Even though he's making a good living, Gary feels that sometimes his age keeps him from making an even better one. The doors of TV and movies that are open wide to younger comedians often seem to be closed to him by executives in the industry.
Basically, I'm not what they're looking for. They're looking for younger guys,
Mark Breslin, the owner of Yuk Yuks, admits there's prejudice, but according to him, it all boils down to dollars and cents.
If you take a look at most of the sitcoms that star stand-up comics now, they're all about the same age. Have you noticed this? They're about 35-ish. Seinfeld, Ellen DeGeneres, Tim Allen. And the reason is that these sitcoms attract that kind of crowd, and that is the crowd, the baby boomer crowd, that has the most money to spend on advertising products. So demographics rules everything.
Boy, you look familiar. A nice-looking girl. Do you like older men? Because my dad's in town.
The irony in all is that there's nobody more popular with the young crowd than Gary David.
So prejudice? I don't know. All I know is that when I go to see a Rodney Dangerfield concert, he's considered the hippest guy in the world to everybody, young, old, and it doesn't really matter. I think Gary's one of those kinds of performers. He just knows how to reach across a room and to touch everybody.
Oh, come on, I don't want to smoke women.
Despite the high praise, Gary's still not smiling. The man who's made so many people laugh has been through a lot of grief in his 62 years. But even in his saddest time of all, when his wife died a couple of years ago, he kept others laughing. And as one of his fans once said,
God always had a special place in heaven for people that could make other people laugh, Hey, you made a great crowd. Thanks a lot. Great. Thanks.